Hello again, everyone. Today's task on the W650 custom job is to remove the rear fender, the battery box, the rectifier regulator, but today's absolute priority is to remove the main harness or the electrical loom from the bike. Removing the loom is a milestone, and with that out, I can start to plan on getting the motor out of the frame. Getting the loom out is a daunting task, as I'm no gifted electrician, and so labeling the loom is a must for me. As you can see, identifying and labeling connectors, wires, relays and the like is a never-ending task. Looking in the manual for identifying features is a time-consuming process, but I'm learning lots. It's becoming increasingly evident that two items will make my life a lot easier for this build. The first one is a wiring labeler. The green masking tape is adequate for the old loom as a reference to identify the parts of it that I will reuse, like the ignition and the charging systems. But as you can probably see, it's starting to look like a Christmas tree, or should I say Christmas lights, which is fine for this part of the teardown, but when I come to the rebuild, I will want the loom to look neat, professional, and above all, easily identifiable for me and the subsequent millionaire owner who's going to have to buy her so I can stay solvent. The second thing I'm going to need is a hydraulic motorcycle bench. While working on the floor is fine for the teardown, when I come to the rebuild, I want to be able to have the bike at chest level. So either sitting or standing, I can access the bike without needing a back brace or yoga training. Working at eye level will be great and far more comfortable for me. I'm not the most flexible person in the world, and the floor exercises are not for me. And while I don't need it yet, when it comes time for the actual build, I'm hoping to have created a DIY hydraulic lift table for the bike. There are plenty of plans out there, some safer than others, and while Fort Nines looks like a novel idea, I'm not sure it's for me. I'll be going with metal and adjustable heights. I love learning new things and refining my skills, so the welding challenge will be a highlight for me. I'd also like to start working with TIG so I can weld some aluminium. Perhaps that will be the time for that as well. Who knows? Foot pegs, mudguards, fenders, and the like. But back to the wiring loom. The wiring diagram in the manual is very hard to follow, as it is black and white and the colors of the wires are all coded. My eyesight isn't what it was up close, so tracing down those tiny wires is eye-popping and headache-inducing. So I reached out on a W650 Facebook page to see if anyone had color wiring diagrams for the 650, and voila, thanks to Alex, suddenly everything made sense. Through this project, I've connected with so many custom bike enthusiasts and builders online. It's an incredibly collaborative and supportive community, generous with their time, their knowledge, and as I recently discovered, more on that in an upcoming video, even their finances. Using a multimeter has been really helpful. Sometimes you've got a wire that disappears into a spaghetti junction of wires and into a connector, or just disappears around a frame or part of the bike and it's obscured and it's impossible to see the wire color, or there are so many wires of the same color. So using the continuity setting on a multimeter has been a godsend for me.
Okay, with two manuals, two wiring diagrams, and all of them slightly conflicting depending on whether you're looking at Australian, Canadian, European, Japanese, one of the only ways to figure out what actually goes to somewhere else is to use a meter and to look for continuity. So, you know, this blue and black wire here that plugs into the CDI, one of them tells me it goes to the TAC, and one of them tells me it goes to the high beam. Only way to find out is to turn this onto continuity and connect the other side into one of them and find if you can hear noise, see if there's any continuity. So there's the blue-black, there it is. And there it is, continuity. So it is the tachometer that one goes to. So that's what my life is like right now. It's the most challenging part of this whole build is going to be figuring out the wiring of the bike. I will be keeping some of it and I will be losing others. So for instance, I'll be keeping the CDI, but not everything that goes from the CDI. I have to know what each and every one of these wires does, so that when I come to plug back into the CDI, I only plug in the ones that I'm actually going to use. The rest of them are going to go to a MO unit, an M unit, which is going to be up here, and that will deal with none of the charging. It will only deal with ancillary stuff. And so all the ancillary stuff on the CDI, I have to understand where it goes to, what color the wiring is, and I'll have to be getting rid of that, because I'll be taking this whole loom out and reconnecting to the CDI with only the wires that I want. So yeah, and whether I'll be using these connectors or different connectors, I guess I'll be using these connectors and having to wire into them only the wires I need. Like I said, complicated. Okay, I got the last bits off, the rear brake switch, the oil pressure switch, and that means I can finally pull the whole, or main, I hope, wiring loom off the bike.
While with my labels the wiring loom looks like a string of Christmas tree lights, it's going to be super helpful when the time comes to put the bike back together again after a frame chop, welding, paint, plating and suspension, etc.
It's a milestone, definitely a milestone.
Getting the rear fender off is supposedly easy, but first you do have to detach the battery electrical box, which is not easy to remove. It took me quite a while to try to sort of jiggle and fiddle and get the things out of there. The fittings, the screws, the bolts, the retaining nuts are hard to access. Finally, removing the rectifier regulator unit, which will be replaced with one that's suitable for a lithium battery, is not easy either. It's bolted upside down, just over the rear swing arm. That's not a great place for it, as access with a 9mm wrench or socket is almost impossible. So sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and tool butchery has to take place.
Sometimes you have to make the tool you want, so be it.
Still, with the fenders, battery box, rectifier regulator, and finally the main electrical harness all removed today, the bike looks very elemental, almost sexy. And that's not a word I would generally use to describe the W650. While the W800 is still for sale in some parts of the world, the W650 isn't, and I'm aware that parts are at a premium. Looking on eBay, parts are still out there, but in various states of condition now. I'll be releasing a more detailed first installment video soon covering the items for sale to this point, so if you need spare parts, stay tuned. As I replace various items, they will go up for sale, and I will release subsequent update videos letting you know what becomes available. Quite a bit, actually, as I'm really only keeping certain parts of the bike, the frame, the engine, and a few other bits. Other than that, most of it will be up for sale. Well, that's another job ticked off the list. It's very rewarding to make progress on the teardown. I'm looking forward to more mechanically based work now that most of the electrical components are removed. I've got lots to learn, but equally, this time last week, I didn't know the fine intricacies of the W's electric system. And now I do, including that resistor. Thanks, James. More on that when I come to rewire the bike in the distant future. As usual, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll all see you in the next one. Take care.